I'm embarrassed to say this, but I've been kind of avoiding Charm's Crush because of the whole OpenCode drama, but I think I finally have to try it out because it just looks so good. From the heading to the logo, to the loading animation, model selection, and much more. I mean, could this potentially dethrone Claude Code for me? Let's find out. And before we do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Charm are known for creating beautiful terminal UI tools, so it's no surprise Crush looks the way it does. It was originally called OpenCode, but because of some drama, which I won't go into, a new OpenCode with a TypeScript backend was created by SST, and Charm renamed their version of OpenCode to Crush. I use the SST version of OpenCode quite regularly, but enough people have spoken about how much they like Crush that I thought, you know what, let's try it out. After it's installed, you can open it with the crush command, and if it's a new project, it will ask you to initialize it with a crush.md file. I'm going to press enter or hit Y, and then it goes to work. After a few seconds, we get this nice permission required modal, asking us if we can use the bash tool with this command. I'm going to press S to allow for session, and go back to the sidebar where we can see it's given us a name for the session. It's got the model selected, the percentage of the context used, and the price. And now we have another permissions modal, using the write tool to finalize adding the crush.md file. Again, I'm going to press S and press S again to add the git ignore, and we can see that it's added the modified files over here. It also has a list of LSPs and any MCP servers you have connected. But Crush doesn't use / for commands. That's for accessing files. Instead, you press Command P, which brings up this modal, where you can do things like switch sessions, switch models between large and small tasks, and even change between system and custom user prompts, which you can add in the commands folder. You can also press Ctrl F to add an image. You can preview the images up here, and to remove an image is Ctrl R followed by the index. Pressing Tab with the prompt selected will move to the chat, which is indicated by the green moving from here to over here. And in the chats, you can navigate with the arrow keys, or if you're a Vim user, press K to go up, J to go down, GG to go to the top, and Shift G to go to the bottom. At the moment, there isn't a Vim mode when prompting, and you can only use models via API keys, so your Claude Pro or Mac subscription won't work here. But you can add local models and also add LSPs and MCP servers in a crush.json file. So that's a quick overview, but how good is it at actually coding? So I have a basic Vite React template with a prompt file asking it to use this React Vite template to create an app that has a drag and drop interface for an MP3 file, which will be converted to a text transcript using OpenAI's Whisper API. I'll run it in Crush with YOLO mode using Claude Sonnet 4 and ask it to run the prompt file. While that's happening, let's make things interesting. I'll run the same prompt with Claude Code and OpenCode with the exact same model. And now they're all done, taking a similar time to complete, which is just under 2 minutes. But Crush didn't show a checklist that got completed over time, but the other two did. Although I really do like the modified files feature in the sidebar. Here is the Crush version of the app created in one shot, with some text over here that's difficult to see, and nothing happens when you click, which means it only accepts drag and drop. I'm going to drag in this MP3 file and wait for it to transcribe the audio, which it does after a few seconds, and even though the text is difficult to read, it does it flawlessly. Next is the OpenCode version of the app, which has this nice purple on hover and allows you to drag and drop as well as choose a file by clicking on it. I'm going to select a file, and it also transcribes the audio in a font that's difficult to read. But hey, this is really impressive for one shot. Claude Code, on the other hand, had a server error the first time I ran this app, so it needed a follow-up prompt. But it does add a cool loading spinner when transcribing, as well as this cool hover effect. And it also has this difficult to read font color. Code-wise, the Claude Code version is the only one that created a server.js file to prevent the API key from being exposed on the front end. The others put the API key in the app.jsx folder, which is not the best for security. Overall, Crush has some great features out of the box. It uses less memory than Claude and OpenCode, and it also has options to show logs, which is really cool. But in terms of features, it is behind on the others. For example, there are no custom hooks or plugins, no custom sub-agents or agents, and no built-in formatters. But with so many AI CLI tools out there, is Crush enough to stand out from the crowd? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Again, don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, happy coding.